Homeless people are homeless for various reasons. Some people lose their apartments, some people got problems, some people are sick. You know, some people are mentally sick and they take medication, they don't take their medication, so they might lose their apartment. There's many reasons as why a person is homeless. Some people are just lazy, some people have a responsibility. You know, they don't want to deal with responsibility. There's many reasons as to why a person is homeless in New York.
When you're young, you have a lot of energy, and I had a big car, and I went around painting beggars in the street, and I went to the Bowery, and I painted bums. Oh, sorry. I'm not that political. I'm not that. You know, to me, it's more about aesthetics. You know, if I paint black people, it's not because I love them or don't love them. I find them beautiful. I find them easy to paint.
It's political, man. You know, I mean, the city is so corrupted by, you know, the mayor. It's like the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, man. You know, what I mean? It's like corruption. You know.
How do you fall so far down?
It's a long story. Family problems, unemployment, you know, and appendectomy. Lost my appendix.
Can you tell, please, where you and Ricky usually live?
Well, I usually live on the street, you know. Sometimes I stay on the train station. Sometimes I live in the train station when it get cold, you know. But see, they got a lot of housing for homeless people, but the government is not really funding it, you know. And then a lot of the shelters that they be having, people rather stay on the street because people be getting raped in them shelters, they get robbed. You gotta sleep with one eye open and one eye closed. I was in the shelter one time and a guy like right next to me, they trying to rape him. So I jumped in there, you know, stopped it. You know, a lot of them shelters is no good. That's why you see a lot of homeless people on the street. They feel safer out here. And it's easier, you know, to make a few dollars out here and pay somebody to let you stay a night or two. That way you know you're safe. I sleep out here by myself, you know, because I'm in the area right here, and it's not that much violence around here, you know. You only got one life. If something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen anyway. And I just pray to the Lord it don't. I just keep my head up, and every day, long as I wake up, I got another shot.
Okay, so those can start with the pieces that have a final piece of turkey on top. Yeah. Can have a piece of bread.
When I grew up here in New York in the 50s and 60s, for instance, there were 3 soup kitchens in New York, 2 down the Bowery and 1 in Brooklyn. Today there are 1,200 and over 800 pantries and other emergency food programs. That's how the need has grown. When they first started this soup kitchen in 1981 or 2 or 3, depending on who you ask, it was an epidemic of homelessness. In the 80s, you couldn't walk down this street without 4 people each block asking you for something. Homelessness was very visible. Today, 30 some odd years later, there are more homeless people in New York than there were then, by almost double.
Actually, in defense of America, if you have an address, you can get supplemental security income or you can get welfare. But welfare, they make you work, so they don't like that. They give you a broom and tell you to clean this. If you're supposedly an able-bodied man, they will give you welfare, but they want you to work a few hours a day, do something. But if you're disabled, then you're entitled to supplemental security income, which is about like $800 a month, plus food stamps, plus Medicaid, but you have to have an address in order to receive a check. It doesn't have to be your own lease, but you can say I'm living with somebody or I'm living with a friend, or how do you get an address if you're homeless?
Thank you, Missy. Thank you. Thank you. I did a portrait of me yesterday. She came out lovely. Thank you. Great some cake. Thank you. That's some cake pot. Some cake and cornbread and cake.
This is his corner. This is his spot. And everyone who lives on that street knows him, and when they go to a nice restaurant and they have extra food they take out, I give it to him. Or if they're in a good mood, they give him a quarter or a dollar. Kevin, please look at me a little bit, because it's like really hard to do, you know?
Momentum. Everything is momentum.
Van Gogh, when he was in Arles, he painted the postman. The postman, he was like in costume. He had a blue suit and he had a hat and a beard. When you paint regular people, like someone like a lawyer or a doctor or someone on Madison Avenue, it's boring. And sometimes the homeless people, they look biblical. They look like they're out of the Bible. They have long beards and tragic eyes. And so this is what interests me, the basic aesthetics of the subjects.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I like it. Passed away in one week. Time is so short.
We had a deal that he would not look at my painting until it was finished. Then when it was finished, he wanted to take it away. He said, "That's my soul. You know, you're a Jew. You're going to get $1 million from the Guggenheim Museum." I mean, he was like educated in certain ways. And he said, "I'm taking that painting. That's mine." So we had to fight a little bit. So I said, "Okay, I'll take you to Nathan's. We'll buy a beer. We'll eat a hot dog. We'll talk about it." So I bought him a hot dog and a beer, and I grabbed my painting and I ran into a taxi to get away. There's a great deal of mental illness, and some of it is quite serious. Some of it is schizophrenia, and those people are very, very hard to treat and really need medication in order to function in a somewhat normal way. And then the people are just angry at the world, at the society, and don't want to have anything to do with any part of any system, and would rather find their own way of surviving.
I came here for like a while, right? I invested in like a video store with my friend or whatever. Next thing you know, everything went downhill. Lost so much money.
It's amazing how fast it can go downhill.
Oh man.
And it's never just one thing. It's like one and then something else and something else.
Yeah, it's like...
It takes you years to get up there and then overnight to go down.
Exactly. It's a hurting feeling, kind of, seriously. But like I said, I'm very optimistic. I mean, sometimes like you get on the system and then you say, nah, I can't do that, because I mean, then it takes a lot out of you. Let me tell you, homeless people isn't all that bad. Most of them is crazy because society can't deal with society. Mostly society, it does more harm to people than good. Most of the time you be hearing that the media brainwashes you in thinking this, brainwashes you in doing that. They used to have a girl, and she was so smart, she had a bachelor's degree. She was black, and she was so intelligent, so people said, wait a minute, why is you out there on the street and you so intelligent? And she said, I can't deal with people. I can't deal with public. I can't deal with society. When you're out on the streets, you're in another mode. You think differently.
Demographic of the soup kitchen when I first came in, at least a vast majority of the people that were there grew up poor. They were born in a poor household and they were poor then. That's a big difference between then and now, because the majority of the people in our soup kitchens today did not grow up poor. They grew up middle class or better. And something happened. Something from Enron to an illness with no health insurance to financial collapse to whatever. And very rarely was the trigger alcohol or drugs. Usually, most of the people I've known got into their substance abuse problems after they became homeless.
Well, this is my daughter. She's like everything to me. You know, I love her so much. It's like she changed my whole life. It's like without her, you know, life ain't worth living.